Hello, my name is Joshua Hardy, and this is a showcase of my full stack application known as Sprout that I created in collaboration with several Tech Elevator students as a final capstone project at the end of our 14-week coding bootcamp with Tech Elevator. Essentially, we were given a idea and 2 weeks split into four sprints, each lasting about a day and a half to 2 days, to take that topic and create a full stack software as a service application. Now, this was created using a Spring Boot server on the back end. So, this is just a demo, as you can see by the localhost URL up here in the URL bar. It was created utilizing Java, RESTful API, and then on the front end, it's a Vue.js application for single page applications, and then HTML and CSS as well. Now, the idea that we were given was essentially just an application based around plants. Now, that was a pretty broad topic, but my team and I were able to kind of consolidate it and come up with the idea of Sprout, which we thought was a little bit more trendy, a little bit more in line with our generation and the upcoming generation of creating a sustainable food source on your own, given like how much gardening space you have. Essentially, it's just garden to table foods, how to grow them, how to care for them, and things of that nature. Now, we have it split into two separate things. We essentially wanted it to be open to pretty much any user that did want to register. There's some features that they'll have access to, as you can see here, but then we also have features that we limited to registered users, such as a curated garden experience, as well as what we call GAIA. Now, as you can see here, grow smarter, not harder. Now, GAIA is our gardening artificial intelligence assistant. Essentially, in your garden, you'll have the ability to ask GAIA questions on how to care for your plants, get fun facts, things of that nature. We also created a recommendation wizard, which we call our garden guru. It's just a short questionnaire where you fill in the most applicable choices based on what you're looking to grow, how much space you have, things like that, and it will give you a list of 6 plants that fit your preferences the closest. We also have our virtual garden, which allows you to keep track of the quantity of plants you have, include garden notes, and then quick facts if you just wanted to look and see something on the fly. So I'm going to show you what our unregistered users have access to. As you can see, we have the home page. They also have access to Garden Guru, which, as I mentioned before, is our recommendation wizard. And I'll go through and just, fill out these, show you how the recommendation wizard itself works. I myself, I'm pretty okay at gardening. I'm way more interested in fruits. I hate vegetables. It's one of my downfalls. I live in a pretty lit area, so we'll say some sunlight. Ohio, where I'm currently living in, it's warm. It can get cold in the cold seasons, but that's pretty normal for most places in the United States. And I have enough, 200 to 400 square feet. That's pretty much how big my backyard is. So we'll do that one. And as you can see, it spits out this list of 6 individual plants that are recommended. Now, say I filled out this quiz and I don't really have time to click on each one and go into the details and see what exactly goes into, caring for these plants. I can go ahead and email the results to myself. This does in fact work. This was implemented using email.js. I'm not going to show you that right now because I don't want to go into my email, but this does in fact work. You just enter your name, enter your email, and essentially what it does is it takes these using email.js and consolidates them into an email and emails them to you for later use. Now, say I'm really interested in using strawberries. I can click on this, and it's going to take you to the individual plant's detail page. Now, here we have a couple different images as to what strawberries, look like, just in case you've never seen a strawberry. We have a few of the kind of minute details, just a short description, how much water is needed, how much light, the difficulty when it comes to planting and care. And then we have a few just minor care details, nothing super extensive, as we aren't using any sort of API call from, like a national database. Instead, we built up our ERDs and created the database ourselves, manually inputting all this data, including pictures and everything that you see. We also included a zone map. So each plant has a hardiness zone. This plant is 4 to 9. So we have this table where you can go and check, okay, so purple to orange. So anywhere from, this area of the United States down to about this area, it's perfect for strawberries to grow in. We do have a print page functionality in case you wanted to print them to take out to your garden with you. It's different for each tab that you're currently selected. It'll just print out the pictures and essentially what that tab contains. Now, say strawberries aren't really your thing. You want to find a different plant. That's where we have the search functionality. Now, here is our entire database of plants. It's pretty limited. As I said, we only had 2 weeks, and it was a lot of manually filling in the database with all the information like hardiness level, light level, descriptions, and images associated with it. So we tried to limit our scope to just a few plants for the demo purpose. Now, say you want to search plants. We do have search functionality. I do like cherry tomatoes, but I'm not really feeling the need to like plant vegetables. I'm just going to filter. We have filter functionality based on these icons right here. And if you hover over, it does tell you, but I mean, carrot, strawberry, we'll say that's some basil. This does allow you to just filter based on the type of plant that it is. We limited our types to vegetables, fruits, and herbs, as we thought that was pretty easy and pretty much consolidates all that we're looking for our users to be able to grow and then take into their kitchen and use. Now from here, say a plant interests you, it's just like after the recommendation wizard, you click on one of the cards and it takes you to that plant's details page. Pretty simple. Now that's all that you can do as a logged out unregistered user. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to log in. Upon logging in, you're immediately taken to what's known as your virtual garden. Now here is where you have all the plants in your garden. It shows you, quick facts like the scientific name, the plant type, the quantity that you have, and then just a quick rundown of what blackberries are, as well as, the necessary details of water needed, light level, and how difficult they are. Here is where you can also add notes to your plants. Now say I'm in the garden this morning, I'm tending to my blackberry bush and I notice that it has some browning leaves. I don't have time right now because I'm headed into work, but I can come in and just add a note, need to prune dead leaves off of my blackberry plant. And I can go ahead and save that. And if I navigate away, come back, you can see that it still remains. So this is just a nice little feature of like, here's a to-do list, or here's some things that I'm noticing just in case you're running an experiment. It goes both ways. Now, one thing that I'm very excited about talking about is GAIA, our gardening AI artificial intelligence. As you can see here, we have it bound both ways to where it's responsive to whatever plant you have selected. Just a nice, cool little feature. But I'm just going to say, tell me a cool fact about blackberries. Now, GAIA is just a API call to Google Gemini. We decided to go with Google Gemini because they have free token usage. They have a free tier, unlike a lot of the other larger LLMs out there, such as DeepSeek, ChatGPT, Claude. It's not perfect, but it is pretty fun to have your own gardening assistant that only answers questions related to plants. Essentially, you just take whatever question the user is asking, package it up, send it as an API call to Google, and they send the response back, which we then parsed to have this nice user-friendly output. Now, as I said, GAIA is specifically tailored through question engineering and system interaction to only answer questions related to botany, gardening, and plants. So say if I wanted to ask something completely off topic, like how can I recreate this web page? It's going to send out the request, and then it is going to reply in a professional but suitable response, gardening related inquiries. This was tailored through question engineering, but a cool thing about Google Gemini is that when you're initializing the model, you can actually send in system instructions that dictate how it responds. So that was pretty fun to work with. But say, I have an extra spot in my garden. I want to add some plants to it. So I'm going to come over, I'm going to click on add a plant. Now, as I said, I'm more of a fruits person. And let me tell you, blueberries are sounding immaculate. So I'm going to add that to my garden, which I can do now as a logged in user. But another thing, I had a random space kind of just pop up in my yard. So I have one more space. And you know what? My blackberry bush is looking a little defeated. So it might be time to kind of start growing another one. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my garden as well. Now, if you come over to the garden, you can see that blueberries have been added. If you come over to blackberries, you can see that the quantity itself has been incremented. But unfortunately, in the time for me walking from my backyard to my computer to, pick some plants to add to my garden, my other blackberry bush died. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to edit the quantity and set it down to 1, because now I no longer have 2 blackberry bushes. Very sad. But I can also remove this note because dead plants don't have dead leaves. And I can save that. Okay. Another feature that users have when they are logged in, if you navigate to plant details, which is conveniently placed right here, takes you to that plant details page. Now, what registered users couldn't see is this little add button, but I don't want to add another blackberry because I just planted one. So I'm going to come over to, let's see, some cilantro. Cilantro sounds really nice. I'm going to come here, I'm going to click on that, and as you can see, garden updated. So if I navigate to my garden, we can see that cilantro has been added. Now, that is as far as we got in the 2-week consolidated overall life cycle of this project. As I said, it was broken down into 4 different sprints, each lasting a day and a half to 2 days. So given that we only had that time frame to work, taking something like just an idea, building up the back end, the API, the database, and then the front end, my team and I came up with a really fresh, really invigorating software application, and we're really happy with how it came out. If you have any questions, I'll include my email down in the description. I'm also going to include my GitHub. This repository itself will be private, but if you make a request, I should be able to show it to you. I'm also going to include my LinkedIn as well as the LinkedIn of my project mates, so you can go and see what they're currently working on and reach out to them if you have any questions as well. Thanks for watching.